Guys, please confirm to me. All of you read my voice on screen. Those who are attending in online, guys, please confirm to me. All of you read my voice on screen. Those who are attending in online, guys, please confirm to me. All of you read my voice on screen. Those who are attending in online, am I audible? Guys, please confirm to me. All of you read my voice on screen. Those who are attending in online, am I audible, guys? Please, all of you respond to me. All of you read my voice on screen. Those who are attending in online, am I audible? Right. Good afternoon, guys. And check it what we completed there in the last session. What topic here we are discussing here in the last session. Right, sir. Then once again, I'm telling to you, people have asked to me regarding the daily classroom notes. Please take this as a classroom notes. Every day, object orientation at 4 to 5:30 notes you are able to get in this particular link every day. So try to use this link https://tinyurl.com/core Java, then 430 core Java 430. If you do this there, we are able to have that notes. I'm telling to you clearly in this link, even that 4:32, that means 5:30 to 6:30 class I'm taking, no, that notes is also available, but not exactly same notes, but previous class notes is available there. If you want to use it, you can use it. Right from very starting point, the total notes is going to be available. Just as per your requirement, you can utilize it. Okay. Right, sir. Now this is Google Classroom Coach. Install Google Classroom app in our mobile phone. Right, whenever it is asking that Google Classroom code, enter this code. Okay, if you enter it, you may join with the classroom. Then I may share some messages. If you want to send any message to you, then I may send that message to you there. Okay, right. And one more point I'm telling there regarding videos. All right, sir. Regarding these videos, this is the point what I'm telling to you regarding these videos. This number you can collect it in this number. If you have any doubt on videos and all, directly you can call to this number in both offline and as well as like for their online. Understand it? Right, sir. Okay, then WhatsApp to this number, then automatically we are able to get some response immediately regarding the schedules or regarding all. Okay, fine. Dasari, Chandini, please stop that messages now. I'm seeing your messages. Okay, Chandini, are you there? Dasari, Chandini, are you there? Dasari, Chandini, are you there? Please stop these messages. Continuously you're sending this message now. Chandini, are you there? Hmm? Okay, then I'll discuss with you. Don't worry. Then the logic-based programming a little bit already completed in loops concepts, like different programs here. Okay, arrays topic I will discuss there. Okay, the arrays I will discuss with you. Don't worry. Arrays in the before the collections I'll discuss with you. Okay. All right, sir. Now, so let us check the content here, what we are discussing now. So if you understand the content in the last class, just we started object-oriented features. Now tell me, sir, to describe the nature of the object orientation, what exactly the features which are provided by object orientation? Seven number of features. What are the seven numbers of features? Class, object, encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, message passing. All right. On the basis of these object-oriented features, two types of programming languages are defined. What are the two types of programming languages there? Object-based programming languages and object-oriented programming languages. Now tell me, what is the difference between object-based programming languages and object-oriented programming languages now? All right, object-based programming languages are able to follow almost all the object-oriented features except what their inheritance and polymorphism. But whereas object-oriented programming languages are able to follow almost all the object-oriented features, including inheritance and polymorphism. Examples for object-based programming languages are what there? JavaScript and VB, Visual Basic. Examples for object-oriented programming languages are what? Java, C++, Python. Object-based programming languages are having inbuilt objects. Example, in JavaScript, there are inbuilt objects like document, window, and so on. Object-oriented programming languages are not having inbuilt objects. Leave this one. Then after that, we started the orientation, that means overview of object-oriented, that means features, overview of object-oriented features. We started the content. So there, I given one important interview question. What are the differences between class and object? Now, observe carefully. What are the difference between class and object? Now we can understand it. Class is what there? Class is a group of elements having common properties and common behaviors. Object is an individual element among the group of elements having real properties and real behaviors. Class is what? Virtual, whereas object is what there? Real or physical. Next one is class is what? Virtual encapsulation of the properties and behaviors, whereas object is what? The real encapsulation of the properties and behaviors. Class is generalization, whereas object is what there? Specialization. Class is a model or blueprint for a plan, whereas object is what there? Is an instance of the classes. That's some examples are given. Then where in general, in Java applications, we will provide a plan in the class, and we will provide its implementation in the form of what their objects. That means it's the reality we can see in the form of objects, but a plan we can define what there in the form of a class. Some examples are given there. One more thing I have given in Java applications, if we create a class once, then it is possible to create any number of objects. Then it is possible to create any number of objects. Observe carefully. Right, sir. Then as for that, I given some representation here. Class employee. One time I declared this class here. From this particular class, number of objects here we created. What objects here we created? No, employee objects here we created. Number of employee objects here we are getting. It's okay, fine. Then after that, I started some information like what there. What is the difference between encapsulation and abstraction? The process of binding data and coding part is called what there? An encapsulation. But what is abstraction here? The process of hiding unnecessary implementations and showing the necessary implementation is called what there? An abstraction. The main advantage of the encapsulation and abstraction is what there? Security. That means in an equation, if we are saying that now encapsulation plus abstraction is equal to what there is security. That's it. Next one is after that inheritance. What is this inheritance actually? Inheritance is the relation between classes. It will provide variables and methods from one class to another class. Next one is what? In inheritance, the class which is providing variables and methods is called what class there? Superclass. In inheritance, the class which is getting variables and methods is called what there? A subclass. What is the main advantage of this inheritance? No, code reusability. Inheritance main advantage is what there? Code reusability. Okay, leave it. Next one, after that, after completion of this, polymorphism. Polymorphism. What is the meaning of this polymorphism actually? That's it. Polymorphism is a Greek word. Polymorphism is what there is a Greek word where poly means many and morphism means forms or structures. Forms or structures. Observe carefully. Polymorphism is a Greek word where poly means many and morphism means forms or structures. Everybody understand it clearly. Now the point is what? If one thing exists in more than one form, then it is called polymorphism. If one thing exists in more than one form, then it is called what there? Polymorphism. See, then if you want to talk about the examples for this polymorphism, so number of examples are available. Try to understand it now. So if you go for movies there, for example, a single actor can play multiple roles in a single movie. Single actor can play multiple roles, but person is single, actor is single, but he can play multiple forms, multiple roles. The simple example for what there? Polymorphism. Not only that, nowadays in outside might be super specialty hospitals are available. The super specialty hospitals, the term is available at present. If we take 15 to 20 years back there we are able to get polyclinic hospitals. The polyclinics, understand it now. The name exactly, the name is suitable there. Are super specialty hospitals now. Then what is the meaning of the super specialty hospitals here now? Alright, that single place for multiple diseases. The single place is cured for what there? Multiple diseases here now. So the place is one, but different might be problems here, we are able to get solution. That's one thing here. Apart from that, nowadays might be you can understand it clearly. Shopping complexes, maybe shopping malls, something else in outside. A best example, D-Mart is a best example, where different types of items here we are able to get. The total shopping we can do with this particular one. Like this, multiple examples are available clearly. Understand it now. Okay, fine. Whatever it may be. If one thing exists in more than one form, then it is called what there? Polymorphism. So polymorphism is an advantage to us in the application development. Just uh, think in the point of development. One thing is available more than one form. One thing is available in only one form. Which one is flexible for the developers? No. One thing is available more than one form. Developer can select either of this form. There is a flexibility for the developer. If one thing is available in only one form, with or without the requirement, the developer must use this one only. Understand my point clearly now? So if one thing is available in more than one form, then developer can select either of this form. There is a free hand for the developer to select either of this. But if one thing is available in only one form, then developers are not having any option to select any other one. He must use the single form key. So always polymorphism is giving what their flexibility. Polymorphism is always providing what their flexibility to the developers to prepare the applications. All of you understand it clearly. All right, so the main advantage of the polymorphism, the main advantage of the polymorphism is what their flexibility. The main advantage of the polymorphism is what their flexibility to develop the applications. In the application development, flexibility here we are able to get. That's the main advantage of what their polymorphism. Understand it now. Okay, fine. After that, right, sir, then again we are going to discuss about this polymorphism in the future. Types of the polymorphisms like static polymorphism, dynamic polymorphism, method overloading, method overriding. So all the points we are going to see in the future, not immediately. Just it is only overview of the object oriented feature. Understand my point here? Leave it. After this, after completion of this, the next one is what there? Message passing. Again, I'm telling there, most of the people, 99% of the people are not going to include this. But as I know this point, it is available in the object orientation. That's why we are discussing about it. But understand this clearly, message passing. What exactly the meaning of this message passing here? What we are able to understand about this message passing? I'll try to understand it now. The process of passing the data from one instruction to the another instruction along with from an instruction to the another instruction along with the flow of execution, along with the flow of execution. Right, the process of passing the data from one instruction to the another instruction along with the flow of execution is called message passing, that we are able to achieve in multiple ways. Right, maybe in the form of associations. For the sake of achieving associations, we can use this. In the form of associations, we are able to achieve this. Not only that, whenever we are calling in one class method from another class by passing some object we want to pass as a parameter to the method. Inside this object we are having data only, data in the sense like what there messages only. Understand it clearly. There we are going to achieve what there this message passing content here. Anyway, we are going to understand this total content in the future, but the point is what there, what are the main advantages here we are able to achieve there. The main advantage of the message passing, the main advantage of the message passing is to achieve data navigation between the entities, and the communication between entities. These are the various advantages here we are able to get with what their message passing. Observe carefully. Okay, now this is another feature, but rarely might be people are not recognizing this feature there, but it is also one of the feature that we can understand now, right, sir? So overall, these are like what their object oriented features what we are having inside our object orientation. Right, if any programming language wants to say that programming language is an object oriented programming language, then definitely it must follow all these features. Then only that programming language is what there an object oriented programming language. Leave this part here. After understanding this all the object oriented features, after understanding all the content here, anyway, before going to start our next content, just I want to ask a few questions to try to answer for it. What is the main advantage of this class and object? Actually, class and objects are the fundamental units in object orientation. Without these two, nothing is going to be happen in our object oriented programming languages. They are the basic blocks, building blocks inside what their object orientation, so they are mandatory. Okay, what is the advantage of encapsulation and abstraction? Security is an advantage of what there encapsulation and abstraction. What is the advantage of inheritance? Come on, what's the advantage of inheritance? Code reusability. Inheritance is what there? Code reusability. What is the advantage of polymorphism? Flexibility. Advantage of polymorphism is what there? Flexibility. What is the advantage of message passing? Data navigation between entities and communication between entities. Yes, sir. All of you are following or not? Just only theoretical concepts here, we can understand it clearly now. Leave this one. After that, the next topic in object orientation, here we are understanding it is like what there containers in Java. What's the topic here we are understanding there? Containers in Java. Right. Put more concentration. Containers. First of all, what is a container in Java? The same topic might be in outside you may identify topmost elements in Java. The same topic might be some other people may introduce in this way, but whatever it may be, concept is very same. Containers in Java are the topmost elements in Java. Okay, whatever it may be. First of all, what is a container? What exactly the meaning of the container? All right, so now understand it clearly. Container is a Java element. It contains some other programming elements like container is a Java element. It contains some other programming elements like variables, methods, constructors, blocks, and so on and so on and so on. There's a simple definition for container. Container is a Java element, a Java programming feature. It contains some other elements. You know already one point. In every programming language, programming is going on with variables, methods, blocks, constructors only. But where we are going to provide these elements, no? In which element we are going to provide these elements, no? If we come for this point, that element is what their container. That element in general is called what their a container. Put more concentration. Okay, fine. That's the point here. Next one is how many types of containers are available in Java, if you observe this, mainly at initial I'm telling there only three types. Understand it? No, there are three types of the containers in Java. There are only three types of the containers in Java. Actually, four types are available. Enum is also available, but I'm not going to include now. You're not going to understand the enum immediately. In the future, I will cover the enum content here. But at present, there are three types of the containers in Java. What are the three types of the containers in Java? First one is class. What is the first one here? Class. And the second one is what there? Abstract class. The second one is what there? Abstract class. And the third one is what there? Interface. Then fourth one is available, that is enum, but not required now immediately. Intentionally, I'm stopping that concept now. Why? Because your knowledge level, your knowledge is not sufficient to understand that enums at present here. So in the future, I will cover that content there. Okay. But as of now, just we can understand clearly class, abstract class, interface. This class is also be called as, concrete class. This class is also be called as what there? Concrete class. Understand my point here? This class is also be called as what there? Concrete class. Observe carefully. Right, sir? Just 1 minute, no? Okay, fine. This class is what there? Concrete class. The class is also be called as what there? Concrete class. Abstract class. What next one here? Interface. Understand it now? Fine. After this, now we need to understand one after another clearly about this content. Fine. See this one here. First here we have to come for class. First we have to understand what there a class. What exactly the meaning of the class? What for what purpose we are going to use classes? But before that, I want to show one simple representation. Try to understand it. No, by that we are able to get clarity. Actually, here I have taken three things. No, three things. No, but classification is available in this way. Now try to observe carefully. Let me use the diagrammatic representation so that we can understand it. No. Right now, actually in Java, how elements are going to be available? If you observe this, first we are going to take like what there containers here we are going to take. Okay, containers. This is if we take the containers part like this. Now, in general, two types of containers here we are going to take. Strictly speaking, these are two types only. But observe carefully. What are these actually? First one is what there classes. First one is what there classes, and the second one is what there interfaces. Classes, and the second one is what there interfaces. Okay. All right. Another one, if you want to take no enums, we can take it. This is a different one. Okay. Next one is again, these classes are divided into two types. Classes are divided into what types here? Two types. Understand the classification. What are the two types of classes here? First one is concrete classes. First one is what there? Concrete classes. And the second one is what there? Abstract classes. Second one is what there? Abstract classes. Concrete classes and abstract classes. These are all the classes here what we are having. Understand it now. This is the actual classification in Java. This is the actual classification in Java that we have to understand. Okay, first understand like this, then after that, but this is actual classification. But everybody, then there are three types of containers in Java. What are the three types of containers? No, class, abstract class, and interface. Like this, we are having this kind of division in general. But strictly speaking, what type of classification is available? Containers, two types, classes and interfaces. Again, classes are how many types? No, two types. What are the two types here? Concrete classes and abstract classes. Okay, just keep this point in our mind. All right, but overall types are what there? Concrete classes, abstract classes, and interfaces. In this way, here we are following clearly. Leave it now. After this, after completion of it, right, sir. Classes, if you understand it clearly, what is the meaning of the class? What is the purpose of the classes? What is the need of the classes? Right. The main purpose of the classes, the main purpose of the classes in Java applications, not only Java applications, in object-oriented programming. But namesake I'm giving there Java application. But in object-oriented programming, the main purpose of the classes in Java applications is to represent all the real world entities. Is to represent all the real world entities. Please try to understand the point here. The main purpose of the classes in Java applications is to represent all the real world entities, all the real world entities. What exactly the real world entity? What is the meaning of real world entity? Real world entity is a thing which has some attributes, which has what their attributes or fields. Right. Examples here I'm telling to you, understand it, no? Now we can take employee is a real world entity. Employee is a real world entity. It has number of attributes. What are the various attributes are available? Employee ID, employee name, employee salary, employee address, employee email, employee mobile number. All these are attributes. Now similarly, we can take account. Account is an entity. How can you say that it is an entity? Actually, account number, account holder name, account type, and account balance, like this, account branch and a bank name. All these are like what there? All the entity attributes for this entity. Similarly, after completion of this, next one is what there? Product is also be an entity. How can you say that product is an entity? Actually, it has so many attributes. What are the various attributes of this product there? Product ID, product name, and product price, product manufacturing date, product expiry date, and so on and so on and so on. So all these are like what their entities. Is it? All of you are getting clarity? To represent an entity, real world entity in Java programming, in object orientation, we will use what their classes. Understand it clearly? Right, sir. Now this mapping is very, very important. It simplifies the development part. If you have this kind of thinking, then it simplifies. It's very simple to prepare the applications. Most of the people are not having this type of mapping. Because of that reason, they are feeling difficulty with the programming part. So now here, what I'm telling to you clearly, in outside world, what is available, try to map that in the form of coding part. If you are able to map that outside world in the form of coding part, then it is very simple to prepare the applications. The same thing I'm trying to do. In outside world, what entities are available in general? Number of entities are available. Say, for example, I'm telling to you, bank, if you take any bank, or maybe normal bank, if you take any bank there, for that I want to prepare a software. For that I want to prepare an application at our level. If you want to prepare an application for a bank, first of all, we have to analyze what entities are available there. What entities are available, what operations are going in that bank. First, we have to analyze that. As part of that SRC, we are able to get the same information there. By seeing that SRC, by understanding their operations, we have to analyze what entities here we are going to represent in our programming. Just simple calculation I'm telling there, as simple as in our level. If you take a bank now, what entities we can identify in that bank now? Tell me. What are the various entities we can identify in the bank now? Tell me. All right. First of all, bank itself is an entity. Inside the bank, number of employees are available. Employee is an entity. Right. Accounts are available. Account is what there is an entity. Customers are coming. Customer is what there is an entity. Am I right or not? Loan is going to be happen. Now loan is also be what there an entity. Transactions are going on. So transaction is what there is an entity. Not only that, that is a bank example now. It's a simple example, as simple as if you take like Durgasoft is an example. Durgasoft is an institute, for example, training center, for example. If you want to prepare a software for this Durgasoft, now tell me what entities here we are going to provide, what entities here we are able to represent. If you want to prepare a software for Durgasoft, what we are going to represent here? Then of course here we are having number of things. That institute itself is what there an entity. Inside this institute, what other entities are available there? Now tell me. Employees are available. At the same time, trainers are available. Next one is the courses are available. Students are available, right? All these are like what their entities only. To represent all these entities in the form of coding part, to represent all these entities in the form of coding part, there we have to use what there all the classes. This is the main intention of the classes. Sir, got it or not? Okay, fine. Leave this one. A small note here. I'm telling to you, observe carefully. Listen, these 2 points also here we have to remember to move on to the programming part here. What are the 2 points here? all entities are represented in the form of what there? In the form of classes. Am I right or not? See this one. Entities are represented in the form of like what there? Classes. Nice. Next one is what there? Entities data. Entities data will be represented in the form of variables. Every entity must have some data. Just now I said to you attributes. For each and every entity, some attributes are available. Am I right or not? That every entity must have some data. That data must be represented in the form of attributes. That attributes are represented in the form of what their variables, or we can call them as what their fields. Fields or variables, both are same. Okay, now say for example, if we take a class, for example, class, if we take class student, student is a class if we take there, then inside the student class, what representation here we are going to provide? Student data here we have to represent or not? What student data here we are going to represent? Now tell me, student ID here I want to represent. Then immediately we have to take right string student ID. We can take it student ID. What is the student ID? That is equal to, for example, I want to represent a particular value. So here we have to provide what there? S-111, for example. All right, sir. Next one is what there? Student name. Every student must have a name. So here we have to take like what there? Student name. That is equal to something else. We can provide some value. Next one is every student must have some address actually. So string student address. Student address is equal to something else here we are able to provide. Student address that we are able to take. That's okay, fine. After taking the student address, then what next one here we have to do there? Every student must have some what next one here? String, not string here. Say for example, int student marks, for example, into student marks is equal to something, whatever it may be, some subject here I'm telling that 78, for example. Next one is student aggregate marks. Student aggregate marks is equal to, just we can say like what there, 7.8 or maybe 8.2, like this here we are able to provide what there, aggregate marks float. Yes, sir. All of you are getting it or not? All these details are related to the student or not? Similarly, like what there, student email, student mobile number, all these things here we are able to represent. So further purpose we are using what there, variables. Now tell me, all these are variables or not? Come on guys, all these are what there, variables. But this is what there, the student is what there is an entity. Student is what there, entity. That entity is represented in the form of what? Class. All these are entities data or not? All these are what there, entities data. This entities data we represent in the form of what? Variables. Got it or not? Entities must be represented in the form of classes, but entities data must be represented in the form of what there, variables. Try to understand it clearly. Next one is after that. This is an example here I've taken. Leave this example. Okay, now later I'll go for it. Say for example, after this, every entity must have some behaviors. Entities are having some behaviors, not only the data, some activities are available for each and every entity. For each and every entity, some activities are available. Understand it clearly. So entities behaviors entities behaviors or actions are represented in the form of methods. Entities behaviors or actions are represented in the form of what their methods. Everybody put more concentration what I'm telling you. Say for example, if we take the student, no, what activities are available for the student here, no, in general, in the point of programming, we are going to write some activities like what there, public void create student, that I'm going to take. Student, I want to create a student. Create student in the sense what there, insert student data into the database table, for example. That is an activity. That activity here we are going to provide like what there, in the form of like what there, methods. This is one thing. Next one is what there, I want to search for a student. So public then a student, public student, search student, for example. Search student, some parameters also here we are going to provide if it is a method. But here we have to understand search is an operation. Search is an action. That action here we are going to provide in the form of what there, a method. We can understand it. Apart from this, public string update student. Public string, what next one here, update student. There we are going to provide some other parameters here. There also we are going to write what there, some implementation part here we are going to write. Understand it clearly. Like this, what we have taken there, these many things here we have taken. Not only that, for example, I want to take some other class here. Understand some other example, what I am telling to you. For example, I want to take a class transaction. Transaction is a class here I'm going to take. Understand it now. About this transaction, different attributes we are able to take. Attributes in the sense variables here we are able to take. Just leave all these things. Apart from this, behaviors point of view, if you want to think about it, the behaviors of this transaction, one of the behavior for the transaction is what there, public void deposit. Deposit is a behavior for what there, for the transaction that we have to provide implementation. After completion of this, that another thing is like what there, public, then void. What next one here? No, withdraw. Withdraw is what there, another behavior of the transaction. Understand it clearly. That behaviors we are able to represent in the form of like what there, methods. Then we are having another behavior. What about this another behavior? Public void transfer. Public void. What next one here? Transfer. Transfer funds. Transfer funds. Right, sir. Some other behavior it is available here. Observe carefully. Transfer funds. It is available, and so on. Like this, so many methods are available here. Observe carefully. So for each and every entity, attributes are available, behaviors are available. Attributes are represented in the form of what their variables and methods, but behaviors are represented in the form of what their methods. If you understand these points, no, writing classes are very simple. Preparing programs are very simple. The remaining part is what there, our thinking. That's it. Our analysis and our reflection of the outside world in the form of coding part that we are going to provide. But as of now, the basic minimal information here I've given about like what there, about these classes information there. Now tell me, what is the purpose of the class? Now tell me what exactly the point I have given there. The main purpose of the classes in the Java applications is to represent all the real world entities. Examples for class are what there, employee, account, product, and so on. Now, then after that, I given some information there. Entities data will be represented in the form of what there, variables and methods. Entities behaviors are represented in the form of what there, methods. Leave it. Some few examples are given about this particular content. That's it. Leave this punch here. After this, after completion of this, now coming to the Java programming. Up to now, object oriented programming that we understood. Now coming to the Java. In Java, how we are able to represent classes? How we are going to create classes? How it is possible to prepare classes? That we have to understand now. In Java applications, to prepare classes, we have to use the following syntax. To prepare classes, here we have to use what there, the following syntax. What syntax here we are able to use? All of you understand it clearly? First one is access modifiers list. That's it. What is the first one here? Access modifiers list. That's it. Access modifiers list. People are asking to me, sir, entities are called objects. No, entities are just class representation. Objects are different. Right, sir. Template of classes is what? No. Right, sir. But I'm not getting clarity. What is the meaning of template? No. Class is what? The class is an entity. That's it. Not more than that. Okay, let's move to the punch here. Access modifiers list is the first one. Next one is class keyword. The next one is what there? Class keyword. Then after this, class name. Then after this, extends superclass name. Extends what there? Superclass name. Extends a superclass name. Access modifiers list. Next one is a class keyword, class name. Extends a superclass name. Then after that, implements interface list. Okay. Then after this, curly braces here we provided. Now insert these curly braces are representing body of the class. So up to this part is what their class declaration. Up to this part is what their class declaration. Then the remaining part, this part, curly braces. In general, people may provide that curly brace in the same line of the class or maybe in the next line of the class. No issues. Both are same here. No need to get any confusion. But I used to follow in this convention. So I'll open the brace in the same line of the class declaration. Then inside this, we are going to provide members of the class. What members in general we are going to provide inside the classes now? If we take this, here we are going to provide what their variables. Here we are able to provide what their variables. Variables here we are able to provide inside these classes. Next one is, apart from these variables, there we are going to provide like what their blocks we are able to provide. Inside these blocks, maybe static blocks are available, maybe instance blocks are available that we can provide. Next one is what there after this constructors. Here we are going to provide. But we are going to provide their constructors. Apart from these constructors, there we are able to provide like what their methods. Methods also here we are able to provide. After providing these methods, the next one is like what? After these methods, there we can understand like what there. All right, again here classes here we are able to provide. Along with these classes here we are able to provide what there abstract classes also be here we are able to provide abstract classes. Okay, apart from these abstract classes, that another thing is like what there what we are able to provide interfaces here we are able to provide. Along with these interfaces, we are able to provide like what there another one. All right, so then what we are able to provide another one is like what the enums. Enums also here we are able to provide, and so on. If anything is remaining, that we can identify clearly, but maximum content here I can watch. Okay, all right, sir. Now observe carefully. Inside inside the classes here what we are providing, but first of all, what is the syntax of the class? If you observe this, first one is like what there access modifiers list. Next one is what there class. Next one is what there class name. Then after that, what next one extends. Then what next one here super class name. Extends what there super class name. Next one is what implements interface list. See, the syntax is okay. Now here we have to understand each and every part of the syntax. Each and everything here we have to understand clearly. But by seeing this syntax, we are getting some observations. Some points easily we can recognize. Some questions we are able to answer easily. What questions here we are able to answer easily? Understand it now. First question, very first question. How many super classes we can provide for a single class? Just observe carefully. Extends keyword is available. That extends keyword is having a particular name. What is that name here? After this extends keyword I given super class name. Super class name in the sense, so how many super classes now? Is it only one super class? So please remember this, for a particular class only one super class we can provide. More than one super class is not possible for a single class. If we provide more than one super class for a single class, it represents multiple inheritance. It represents what there multiple inheritance. It is not possible in Java. Understand it now. Leave this. Then after that, next one. If you observe this implements interface list for a single class, how many interfaces we can provide there? More than one interface we can provide. Super classes should be only one super class, but interfaces may be any number of interfaces here we can provide. Yes, sir. All of you are getting it or not? Super class should be only one super class, but any number of interfaces here we can provide. Interface list in the sense what there? More than one interface. But at the same time, remember one more point. What's the point here? In class syntax, extends is optional, implements is also optional. These square braces I provided now, it represents optional elements. The square braces I provided them as what they're optional elements. So extends is optional, implements is what they're optional. Both are optional. What's the meaning of it now? We can write a class without extends keyword with implements keyword. We can write a class with the implements keyword without extends keyword. We can write a class without both extends and implements keywords, and we can write a class with both extends and implements keywords. But if you write both extends and implements keywords, first we have to write extends, then we have to write what their implements. I forget my point here. First we have to write what their extends, then we have to write what their implements. We should not interchange these two. If you want to write both extends and implements, first we have to write extends, then only we have to write what their implements. But both are optional. Without both we can write the classes. Without extends, with implements we can write the class. Without implements and with extends we can write the class. But if once if you want to write both of them, First we have to write what? Extends. Then we have to write what? Their implements. These are the rules and regulations here we have to follow. But I'll make a note. No need to worry for it. These are the important points actually. But observation, just by seeing this total syntax, what we are able to observe, that points here I'm giving clarity. Leave it. Next one is after that. Right, sir. Next one here. What's the meaning of what's the next part here? Observe carefully. Right, sir. Then people are asking to me, what is the meaning of superclass now? Right, previous classes I given information anyway. Then what I'm telling to you, inheritance topic already we discussed it here, right? Please 1 minute now. Try to understand it now. Let me clarify it. Inheritance I given there is the relation between the classes. It will provide variables and methods from one class to another class. Now here the one class is what there, the class which is providing variables and methods is called what there, super class. The class which is getting variables and methods is what there, subclass. Now if you think about it, right sir, now if you think about it, the class syntax here, if you provide extends then any super class name, if you provide this, automatically the present class is becoming as what there, a subclass, and this is what there, super class. This super class has some variables and methods, no, automatically that variables and methods of this super class will come to what there, present subclass. This is the meaning of like what there, extends keyword. But implements keyword I will discuss with you, don't worry. Interface are having some specific nature, that nature we are going to implement in the form of classes, that we are going to understand, no need to worry for it. Okay, now leave this one. All right, now where we are now, observe carefully. Observations, by seeing the syntax of this particular class, observations here I'm telling, now try to understand it clearly. All right sir, observe carefully. So only one super class, any number of interfaces we can provide in our simple class syntax now. Right, after that extends is optional and implements is also be optional. We can add a class without extends and with implements. We can add a class with implements and without extends, and we can add a class without both extends and implements. We can add a class with both extends and implements. But if you want to write both extends and implements, first we have to write what their extends. After that one we have to write what their implements. These are just observations now. Later on I will give notes of all these things. After that, after completion of this, now interviewer may ask some other questions to you. Observe carefully. What is that other question here? What other questions here we are able to get there from this particular content? Is it possible to write a class inside a class or not? Is it possible to write a class inside another class? This is a question here. Is it possible to write a class inside another class here? All right, by seeing that syntax easily we can identify it. Yes, it is possible. Easily we are able to write one class in another class. Got it or not? Okay, now this is the point here what I'm telling there. It is possible to write a class inside another class here. Okay, fine. Not only that, is it possible to write an abstract class inside a class? Yes, already by seeing the body of this class, no, easily we can recognize it. Okay, fine. Is it possible to write an interface inside a class? Is it possible to write an enum inside a class? Okay, forget about this. First of all, understand these combinations. Is it possible to write a class, abstract class, interface inside a class? As per the syntaxes, yes, it is possible. But when and where we are going to use them is a different story. But possibilities, if we think no, classes, abstract classes, interfaces, we can write inside the classes. By seeing the syntax of this particular class, easily we can recognize this point here. Some extension here I'm providing there. Answer for my next questions also. Observe carefully. Is it possible to write a class inside an abstract class? That's a question. Is it possible to write an abstract class inside an abstract class? Is it possible to write an interface inside an abstract class? Next one. Is it possible to write a class inside an interface? Is it possible to write an abstract class inside an interface? Is it possible to write an interface inside an interface? Maybe first three questions, it's very clear. Already we specified in the syntax. That's why we are able to answer. The last six questions I've asked there. Writing a class inside an abstract class. Writing an abstract class inside an abstract class. Writing an interface inside an abstract class. Writing a class inside an interface. Writing an abstract class inside an interface. Writing an interface inside an interface. The last six number of questions I have not included here. I have not specified in the syntax now. That's why we are not aware about the answer. But now I'm giving a clear, a simple answer for all the questions. A simple answer for all the questions is what there? Yes. Yes, we can write a class inside a class, an abstract class inside a class, an interface inside a class. Similarly, Yes, we can write a class inside an abstract class, an abstract class inside an abstract class, an interface inside an abstract class. Yes, we can write a class inside an interface, an abstract class inside an interface inside an interface. All possibilities are available. Okay, again I'm going to talk about all these points, but when we see in that syntax, simple syntax, automatically all these many points are coming in our mind. Is it got it or not? Just you have to remember these points. They're the basics of the basics. Okay, now tell me, how many super classes we can write for a single class? No, only one super class. How many interfaces we can implement in a single class? No, many number of interfaces we can provide. Is it possible to write a class without extents and with implements? Is it possible to write a class without both extents and implements? Is it possible to write with both extents and implements? But what is the condition there? First we have to write what? Extents, then we have to write what their implements. Is it possible to write classes, abstract class and interface inside the classes? Yes. Is it possible to write classes, abstract class and interface inside the abstract classes? Is it possible to write classes, abstract class and interface inside the interfaces? Yes, it is possible. For all these questions, answer is what there? Yes, it is possible. But how it is possible? How to declare all these many things inside the classes? In the sense, just we have to wait up to the inner classes topic in core Java. In inner classes, almost for all 9 questions, for all 9 number of options, we are going to provide separate program. How to declare an interface inside a class, how to declare a class inside the interface, separate interview questions are available, separate programming part I'm going to show. But if you want to understand the content, we need to have some knowledge in Java. Then only we are able to implement, we are able to understand the content. Fine, leave this content here. Then after that, now let's move on to the next one. The topic is what there after this. In the syntax, the very first one, what we are going to understand there, access modifiers. The next one is what there, access modifiers in Java. First, we have to understand access modifiers in Java. That's it, access modifiers in Java. Now, observe carefully. There are 2 types of access modifiers are available in Java. There are 2 types of access modifiers in Java. Observe carefully. There are 2 types of access modifiers in Java. What are the 2 types here? First one is scope represented access modifiers, scope represented or scope defined, or scope to provide scopes to the programming elements. We need to use what there, scope represented access modifiers. And the second one is what there, to define some extra nature, to the programming elements. To define some extra nature to the programming elements, we will use what there, some other access modifiers. Right, sir? To define scope to the programming elements, scopes to the programming elements. To define scopes to the programming elements, we will use the following access modifiers. What exactly the access modifiers here we are able to use to define the scopes there? The first one here we can understand public. The first one is what there, public. The second one is what there, protected. And the third one is what there, default. And the fourth one is what there, private. These are all 4 access modifiers are available to define what their scopes to the programming elements. To define some extra nature to the programming element, that we will discuss in the future. First of all, let us have some discussion over what their these access modifiers. All of you observe carefully. What exactly the public scope, and what exactly the meaning of protected scope, and what is the meaning of private scope? Understand it clearly. All right, sir. Now, what is this public scope actually? And what is the meaning of protected? What is the meaning of private and default kernel? First of all, let us start with some diagram here. Now observe carefully this diagram here so that we are able to understand it. No? Before going to start this diagram, I'd like to ask some questions to you. Now try to answer for it. Tell me, what is a package? Come on. Package is what? There collection of classes and interfaces. Package is a collection of classes and interfaces. Observe carefully. All right. For example, in my application, I want to have two packages. This is one package and this is another package. I want to give names for these two packages. No, first one is package 1, package P1, for example. Similarly, package P2. Now, inside this package P1, classes are available. 1 minute. Inside this package P1, some classes are available. At the same time, in package P2 also, some other classes are available. This is another class and this is another class. I want to give names to all the classes. First, class A. This is class A. Next one is class B. Class B, I want to write extends A. Class B extends A. Next, I want to write class C without having extends. This is only class C. Now, at the same time, class D extends A. Class D extends A. Next one is after that, class E. The simple class here I'm going to take. Okay, fine. Observe, all of you observe carefully. Understand it here. In class A, I want to declare some variables with a different scopes. I want to declare some variables with a different scopes. Say for example, I want to declare public variables. Public variable, one variable I want to declare with a pub. Name is what there? Pub. Variable name is what there? Pub. Its scope is what there? Public. Data type might be, we can take anything, maybe int or string, that doesn't matter. Now I'm not thinking about data type, okay? Or else maybe if you are thinking about data type, no, just we can understand public, data type, and what next one again? No, pub. Okay, fine. This is one variable. Next one is what there? Protected data type PROT. That's my variable. Protected variable. Next one is after that default. Why I'm providing square, that means why I'm providing angular base every time. There's a meaning for it. I will give that information to you. Just wait. Default data type DEF, for example. Okay. The next one is what there? Private data type PRI, for example. These are all like what there? The data types. These are all like what there? That variables with different scopes that I declared. I'm going to declare inside what there? Class A. Yes, sir. Now observe carefully. Inside this class A, some variable, one variable is private, next variable is what there? Default, next one is a protected, and next one is what there? Public. Got it? What I'm telling to you? Fine. For example, now what I'm telling there, inside the same class, how many members are available? What members are available? What members are having the scope in the same class? No. Right. If you understand it clearly, public variable is having scope here. Public members are available in the same class. Okay. No problem. Next one is protected members are having scope in the same class. Protected variable is also available in the same class. Next one is default members are having scope in the same class. where we declared it, the default members are having the scope in the same class. Now default members are having, at the same time private members are also be having scope in the same class, right sir? Now private members are having scope in the same class. Observe carefully. Private members, okay, private members are also be having scope in the same class. All variables are having scope in the same class. Why? Because in the same class we declared them. Got it or not? Okay, fine. Now observe carefully. From class A to class B, there is a relation between class B also. From class A to class B, put more concentration. Class B is a child class to class A. Automatically all members of class A are available to class B to access. Got my point or not? But anyway, even though it is a case now, both are available in the same package P1. But what members are coming to the class B from class K? What members are available to class B from what their class K? If you understand it, now observe carefully. First of all, public members are available from superclass to subclass. Directly, what members are available? Public members are available. Okay. Protected members are also be having scope. Protected members are also be having what their scope from superclass to subclass. Protected members are also be available. After that, next one is what their default members are also be coming from class A to class B. Default members are also be coming, but private members are not coming. Private members are strictly having scope up to the respective class where we declared. Private members are not available to even child classes. Sir, all of you get my point or not? Just analyze it. Your parents are having some special properties. They don't want to give that property to you. Will you agree for this? Your parents wants to give his properties to some charitable trust. That is his own. He don't want to give that to you. Might be 50% he want to give to you. Remaining 50% he want to give to some charitable trust. Will you agree for it? We don't care about your agree or maybe disagree, no, right? Your parents will take the decision if it is a case, no. Understand it, Ken, right? But I'm giving information to you. The point is what? That parents are having their own. Up to that parents only that is available. That will not come to what their childs. Yes, sir. All of you are getting it or not? So that is the meaning of what their private members, private scope. Private scope is valid. Private scope is having the visibility up to the respective class. It is not available to other classes. Even to the child class, it is not available. Sir, in super class, I declare a variable as a private. Is it possible for me to access that variable inside my subclass? No, no, not possible. That is valid up to the respective super class only. Understand it? Next one. After that, next one is from class A to class C. From class A to class C, what members here we are able to get? From class A to class C, what members here we are able to get? If you understand it, now observe carefully. For example, as usual, now public members are having scope. Understand my point here? As usual, public members. Next one is what there? Protected members. Then apart from these protected members, again here, default members are having scope. Default members are also be having scope as it is. These three are available. But again, private members are not possible. Yeah, private members are not available even to the child class, right? How can we expect that private members in other class? No. So got my point or not? Private members are not available in child class, but how can we expect that private members in some other class? So not possible. Private members are not having, but public protected default members are available. Then immediately I have a question now. What is my question here? Observe carefully. What is my question here? Listen, all of you know. If I observe this class B extends K, inside the class B public protected default, inside the class C also public protected default, then what is the difference, sir? What is the difference between these two? I may have this question. But the difference is very clear. B is a child class to class A. and C is not child class to class K. Still, what is the difference? Still, what is the meaning of it now? The point is what? Even though public members, protected members, default members are available in both the classes now, in the class B, directly we can access them, but in class C, after creating object for class A only, we can access them. Come again, what's the point I said to you? Both the members are having same scope in both the classes now. Public members, protected members, default members are available in both class B and as well as in class A. But still, what is the difference here? The difference is what there? Class B is a child class to class A, but class C is not the child class to class A. So what is the point here? If it is a child class, we can access that superclass members directly without creating object for class A. But inside the class C, it is not a child class for class A. If you want to access that superclass, that means if you want to access A class members in class C, we must create object for what there? Class K. Then only it is possible. In a child classes, object is not required for super classes, but in non-child classes, object is mandatory. Then only we can access that members, even though they're available, even though their scope is available, but accessibility is how we have to create object for the respective class. Here, if we take the 2 points now, scope and accessibility, even though scope is available, in some situations accessibility is not available. To get accessibility, object is mandatory. We have to create object. But if we take the subclass of class K, class B is a subclass of class K, where scope is available for the variables, at the same time accessibility is available. In a class C, scope is available, but accessibility is not available directly. If you want to get accessibility, what we have to do? We have to create object for the class K. So these are minute points. We have to put more concentration, then only we can understand it. All of you are getting clarity on my points now. Now tell me, in class B and class C, same scopes are available. Scopes are very same. Then still, what is the difference between these two? No. Class B is a child class to what? Class A. So the scope is available as well as direct accessibility is available. But what about this class C? Class is not child class for class A. So scope is available, but accessibility is not direct. But if you want to get accessibility, what we have to do? We must create object for what there? Class A. Then only we can access the members. Got it? What I'm telling you now. Leave this one. Then after this, after completion of it, now observe carefully from class A to class D. Now observe carefully, class D is a child class to class A, but not in the same package, but in what their different package. But class B and class A are available in what package? No, same package. Everybody understand it clearly. Now in this particular scenario, now try to observe carefully in this scenario. Right, from class A to class D, if you observe this, from class A to class D, if you understand it, what exactly the points here we are understanding that, observe carefully. All right, now public members are anyway they're available, protected members are available, but default members are not coming to the class D. Only public members and protected members. Why? Because observe carefully. Why? Because everybody understand it, no? Why? Because private members are restricted to the respective class only. Default members are having scope up to all the classes which are available in the current package only. Default scope is what their package scope. Up to the present package only, the default members are having scope. Default members are not having scope in outside of the current package. Yes, sir. All of you get my point or not? Default members are not having scope in outside of the present package. Got my point or not? That's why in class D, default members are not coming. Only what members are coming here? Only public and protected members are coming. Okay, leave this one. This is one thing. After this, from class A to class E, from class A to class E, what members are coming? If you observe this clearly, that members are very clear. Even the protected is also be not available. Only public members are coming. Only what there? Public members are coming. Yes, sir. All of you are getting my point or not? Okay, just 1 minute of time. No. What is the difference between protected and private? So it's very clear. What is the scope of the protected and what is the scope of the private? Now tell me. Private members are available up to what their respective class, but private members are available in class A as well as in class B. Child class in the same package. Class C, non-child class in the same package. Class D, child class available in other package. but not in what there? Class A. So the protected scope is what there? Protected members are having scope up to all the classes in the present package and the child classes available in what there? Other packages. Yes, sir. All of you get my point. And protected members are having scope up to the all classes in the present package and the child classes in what their other packages. Understand my point clearly? Got it or not? Fine, sir. This is what the point here I'm telling here. What will happen if we are using variable from parent classes, but in future if you delete the parent class and still we are able to access those variables? No. How can we access it now? If parent we deleted there, how the variable is going to be existed now? Tell me. In the future or maybe in the past, whatever it may be, if parent class is available, that variable we can access in the subclass. If parent class is not available, no chances of getting that variable. No declarations now. See the point, I'm asking one question reversely. Now tell me, without having any variable declaration, is it possible to access that variable? Without declaring a variable, is it possible to access variable? No, definitely we declare, then only we can access it now. If we remove parent class, the declaration of the variable is going to be removed or not? Then definitely we are not going to access it here. Now try to understand it clearly. Okay, fine. So these are the scopes here, what we are getting there. Now try to understand the scopes here. Now let me include in the document here. So I want to provide this document, but first of all, now tell me what exactly these members here we are going to understand. Now observe carefully. What members are available here? If you observe this diagram here, I want to give some points here. Observe carefully. Private members are having scope. Private members are having scope up to the respective class. Up to the respective class. Next one is what there? After this, default members. That's it. What next one here? Default members. Default members are having scope up to all the classes, up to all the members, all the classes available in the current package. One more point we can understand. Private scope is also be called as the restricted scope. Private scope is also be called as what? There restricted scope. Default scope is also be called as package scope. Default scope is also be called as what? There package scope. Observe carefully. After this, after completion of this, the next one is what? There protected members are having scope up to the protected members are having scope up to the what members can now tell me? Up to the all classes available in the present package and the child classes available in the other packages. Child classes available in what their other packages. Observe carefully. And the child classes available in what their other packages. Fine. This is about protected. Now observe carefully. Public members are having scope throughout the application, throughout the application in all the packages, throughout the application in all the packages. In other words, I'm telling there throughout the system, in all the packages. In other words, here what I'm telling to you, throughout the system. Observe carefully. Throughout the system, these members are having scope. Observe carefully. Right, sir. Then what are what exactly the scopes are available here? Now tell me, if you want to understand the scopes. Now 4 types of scopes are available actually. What are the 4 types of scopes now? Public, protected, default, private. Now tell me, what exactly the meaning of private actually? Private members are having scope up to the respective class. Default members are having scope up to what there? Up to the all classes available in the current package. Protected members are having scope up to what? All classes available in the present package and the child classes available in other packages. Public members are having scope up to what there? Throughout the application in all the packages here now. Got it or not? So this is exactly the meaning of what their scopes and their representations clearly. Right, sir. Good. But okay, it's okay. Up to that here we understood clearly what exactly the scopes of each and every property. That's okay, fine. But here my question is what there? Out of all the 4 types of scopes, which scopes are valid for classes and which scopes are not valid for classes? Understand it? My point is what there? All the scopes information here we discussed here. Of course, this course we can apply for variables, methods, and classes, and so on. For each and every one, we can apply. For each and every programming element, we can apply this scopes. But here my question is, out of these 4 scopes there, which scopes are valid for classes? Which scopes we can apply for classes? Which scopes are not applicable for classes? That we have to understand clearly. Yes, sir, got it or not? Okay, now, if we come for this particular point, then all 4 scopes are not applicable for classes. All 4 scopes are not applicable for classes. Some of the scopes only applicable for classes. But what scopes are applicable for classes? That we have to understand. Okay, right, sir. That information I'll discuss within tomorrow. The time may not be sufficient for it. That information we have to discuss in tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to understand the content clearly about the scopes related point. But don't miss the tomorrow's class. No, few more conclusions I'm going to give. I said you already. Next 1 week of classes, fundamentals I'm going to talk. Everybody must attend for these classes without failure. Please, I'm requesting to everybody, try to refer the notes before come for the class at least once. Or at least if we come to the class 10 minutes before, open the document and try to check the content what I have given there. If we come to the class with this knowledge, tomorrow's class will be very simple. Otherwise, you may have the questions again, sir, what is private, what is protected, what is public? Yes, sir, got it? What I'm telling you now. I may ask so many questions in the future on the basis of the scopes. Now. One simple question there. What is the syntax of the main method? Now tell me. What is the syntax of the main method? Now tell me. Public static void main string array args. Then my question is what? What is the requirement to declare main method as a public? If you know the scope of this public, then easily we can answer for it. If you don't know the scope of this public, you may get confusion. So because of that reason, here itself, we have to understand all the content clearly. Okay, right, sir. Just take few minutes break and come back for the first application development. Those who are not required, you can leave. Those who require that, just within 5 minutes of time, I'll start that first application development. Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. Meet on tomorrow. Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, Dhananjay, then instead of so and so on, please try to mention as many as possible. Yeah, definitely. Then max information I'm going to provide. After that one, I'm going to write what there and so on. If anything is missing there, right? But max, what I know, then everything I used to write it now. Dhananjay, don't worry for it. I'm not going to skip any topic, right? Any content. Definitely, everything you are able to get it. Max content we are going to discuss inside the classes now. Not worry for it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you guys. Then use the same link for the first application. Next class also be same link, guys. No need to use any other link. No, the same link we can use for the next class also. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, same link for the next class. Okay, use it.